Good day, children. How are you all? Hope you are doing good. Okay, children. So, till now, we have learnt about a balanced diet. We learned what a food pyramid is. Then, we learned essential nutrients and we studied its importance. What function do they perform in our diet? And then we studied about the diseases that we suffer from. There are mainly two kinds of diseases. One is communicable diseases, which can be passed from one person to another. So they are contagious diseases. Communicable diseases are caused by certain microbes, also known as pathogens or disease carrying germs, right? Which pathogens did we talk about? We talked about bacteria, viruses, protozoa, and fungi. Some of them were useful and some of them were harmful. If they are harmful, they cause several diseases like typhoid, tuberculosis, pneumonia, then dysentery, malaria, dengue, chickenpox, common cold, flu, influenza, and so on. Right? All these diseases can be transmitted through pathogens. It can be transmitted through air. It can be transmitted through one-to-one contact. If we use articles of a sick person, the things used by a sick person, if we come in contact with those, then also these can spread. Then these also spread through the insects and some other carriers. All right. Then we learned about nutritional deficient diseases, also known as non-communicable diseases. These diseases occur if our diet is lacking some of the essential vitamins and minerals. Like we studied about night blindness, we studied about beriberi, and some of the mineral deficient diseases are goiter, anemia, which causes uh, lots of weakness. And then we learned about scurvy, which is because of deficiency of vitamin C, right? So today I'm going to talk about how we can prevent ourselves from these diseases, right? We know that prevention is better than cure. Why wait for a disease to happen when we can prevent it from happening, right? So how can we do that? For that, it is quite simple. Mainly, there are three things that we can do. First, we need to practice good hygiene, right? We are all aware what a good hygiene means. We have to look after our oral hygiene. Then we have to ensure that our houses are properly fully ventilated and properly airy, and we are exposed to sunlight as well, because air and sunlight, these are natural disinfectants. Okay. And we also need to ensure that the water we are consuming for drinking must be properly purified. That can be done. If it is impure, you must boil it for a few minutes before it is stored in clean and covered containers. If you will not cover your food or water, it will be a breeding ground for mosquitoes or some house flies or mosquitoes, which are the carriers of diseases. When they sit on your food and water, they will contaminate it, and that will cause you diseases. Okay. Now, water can also be purified by one more process known as chlorination. Chlorination is the process of purifying huge amounts of drinking water by adding chlorine to it. Okay. And we also need some practice some basic food safety, where we need to ensure that the food before you cook, especially the vegetables and fruits that we are about to consume, they should be properly washed. Vegetables should be washed properly before cooking, and fruits should be washed properly before you are taking it. Okay, so that was about basic food safety. Now, apart from this good hygiene and daily food safety habits, we also need to ensure that we are properly immunized. That means we are vaccinated from time to time so that we can acquire immunity to fight, to prepare our bodies to fight against these contagious diseases, right? Because when we get vaccination, our body builds antibodies which help us to fight the pathogens being injected in our bodies because of these contagious diseases. Okay, while I'm talking about vaccination and immunization here, I want to discuss a very interesting concept, that is of a herd immunity. Herd means crowd. Herd immunity is a term used when majority of our population is immunized and vaccinated in such a way that they protect themselves to fight against these diseases. See, if we have 10 people in a room and out of them none are immunized, when they meet another 10 people, there is a high risk that a disease will be spread, right? So 20 people out of 20 will catch the disease. That is the risk calculation. Now, if out of 20, out of 10, only 5 are immunized, there is less chance of the other 15 to get infected. But if out of 10, if we say 9 or the entire 10 people, all of them are immunized, then there is always a less risk of spread of disease, right? So that's the concept of herd immunity. It is an indirect way of acquiring immunity when majority of our population is already immunized against that disease. That means they already have those antibodies in their bodies to fight against a contagious disease. So if they catch a disease, their bodies will already have those antibodies to fight the pathogens of the disease. Okay, so that was all about the practices that we can follow to prevent the communicable diseases from spreading. Alright children, that was all about food and health till now. Now I want you to go through the entire PDF that has been shared with you, and at the end I have given you some questions. Please go through them and do them in your notebooks. Okay, and in our next video I'll go through all the concepts once again of the same chapter before we attempt the exercises from the workbook. Okay? Take care. Bye bye.